Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're here with us on the Electric Performance channel. We're talking to Blake Fuller about our electric performance racing team, how we're going to get up Pikes Peak. And I have a big question for you, Blake, and it has to do with safety. We just added something really cool to the car that I don't think too many other Model 3s have. What was that?
We actually put a gymnasium inside of it. It's kind of like a little, my kids can crawl around inside. No, we put a proper roll cage in, which I'm really excited about. It was great because a local fabricator named Johnny is actually the one who did the work on it, and as will probably be an upcoming episode, and you'll get to see a little bit more behind the scenes. When you first walk into the shop, it's all circle track cars, dirt track cars, about 180 degrees from a Tesla Model 3. But through Scott Vautcher, who did our suspension, Scott said, hey, I think I've got the perfect fabricator for you. That when I told him that somebody needed a Tesla cage, he's like, dude, I want to do it. You know, like super stoked. So yes, we've got a roll cage built for the car. It's actually back out of the car as we do this interview because the roll cage got test fitted. We tested it at Sebring, made sure everything was the right tolerances we wanted, and now it's been pulled back out of the car to go to the powder coater so that way it'll be looking great for the race.
Awesome. So I have a question, Blake. Every single thing that we put into the car or take out of the car, you're telling me how much it weighs. You're like, oh, that's 3 pounds. Oh, that's 2 ounces. Oh, this weighs 6 grams. We're going to get rid of this. I'm going to pull my eyelashes off before the race. You're always talking about weight, but you wanted to put in a big steel cage. It looks like, as you said, a gymnasium. Why? It's heavy. Take it out.
Yes, we did put, and what's crazy too is the Model 3 is an extremely safe car. Just a kind of little anecdote.
Great. Pull it out.
Yeah,
we don't
right?
need it.
No joke. I was talking with the fabricator as he was literally trying to trying to drill the mounting points through the high strength steel just to be able to make clearance for one of the bolts. And he went through like 3 bits and he's like, dude, I've seen companies that claim it's high strength steel. He's like, this is legit. And when you look at the design, because before we designed the cage, there was a lot of pre-thought that went into it. So I was able to get my hands on a body repair manual for the Model 3. We'll get into this in just a minute, but bottom line is that, yeah, we added, I'm guesstimating about 150 pounds of roll cage weight. And back to the extra weight thing, we also added probably 20 pounds of connectors because we wanted to have a cage that was modular or able to bolt in and out because of the plans for the car. We've got a lot of different types of events and a lot of ways that the community can come out and interact with the car. And we wanted to make sure that some portions of the cage could be removed so that people could get in and out of the car, be able to go for rides. So yeah, there's a lot to it.
Wait, so this roll cage, like you said, is modular. It can have sections bolted in and out. Why not just... I don't understand why you need to do that. Like, why not just make it one big, massive cage?
Well, so there's pros and cons to each design, right? And thank you very much for the community, and thank you to Dave for providing the car. Now, if we had, say, 3 Model 3s, we might have just built one with a full welded-in cage that would have welded to the entire chassis. That would have actually been structurally stronger, would have been lighter, but it also would have pretty much made the car only usable for very specific racing events. Whereas, as I did with and I've had race cars that are full caged cars, and I've had cars that I've put bolt-ins. And if it's a car that is a production class car, typically I've kind of leaned more towards a really well-built bolt-together cage, because then the car through its life cycle can do a lot more versatility. For example, with the cage the way it is right now, we would not be able to fit 4 spare tires in it when it's all assembled. So I would not be able to go to a track day and swap my tires. Now suddenly, granted the Cybertruck will come out, but I suddenly would have to have a truck with a trailer or find another vehicle to just bring my track tires. So part of the rear section of the cage is designed with an X brace it's not required by the rules. It actually structurally makes it stronger, makes it safer for me as a driver, but we can remove that X brace and now I've got room for tires. Or up front, it's very hard to get in and out of the car. So the A-pillar bar and the side door bars, which are offering great safety for Pikes Peak, may not be necessary for an autocross or, say, a track event that we want to take people for rides, so it makes it easy to get in and out of. So that's why we did it. And also, it allows for us to kind of have a template that we can look at, that if others want to build a Model 3 and it's a car that they don't intend to turn to a race car forever, then you have the option of doing that. So it's kind of nice. The other benefit is that if the 2021 Model 3 has the same chassis and comes out with better motors or better battery, guess what? We've got a cage built. We just move it to the new chassis.
Now, you just said that you can move it. I thought it was welded into the car. How do you, so it's bolted in instead?
Yeah, so, and the Model S and the Model 3 we built differently. The Model S is a full aluminum, for those in the UK, but aluminum chassis. And we riveted the base plates into the rocker panels, and then we would bolt the section that brings the cage down. With the Model 3, because it's a steel chassis, we did opt to go ahead and put 3/8-inch plates that were welded just to the rockers that made those stronger onto themselves, with nuts that you can actually take the top part of the cage and bolt it down to it, and then the rest of it goes together sectionally. So you've got 6 main points that it attaches to the car, and each of those have a welded plate directly to the chassis, but then you bolt to that additional subframe strength.
How hard is it to get in and out of the car with the roll cage installed?
It's very difficult to get into the car, and it's something where years and years of climbing into race cars, almost Dukes of Hazzard style, has kind of trained me how to plop my body into some strange positions to get into the car and or out of it. But from a standpoint of extraction in an accident, actually that's something that we are looking at, is because the Model 3 steering wheel, fortunately, is nice and small. I love that it's a smaller steering wheel, but it's not mechanically adjustable without the electric assist. So if we were to lose 12-volt power, which there's a big redundancy in the system, but if we were to lose that 12-volt power, there's no way to articulate the steering wheel out of my way. And because my newer seat, which we had one of the recent episodes, if you haven't seen that yet, check out the newer seat of how much higher the sides are to protect your body. There's only about this much clearance between the steering wheel and the seat. So that's basically, my thigh kind of fits through there. But if something happens, we are looking at having a removable steering wheel, which is actually, I've got something that I was kind of over there prototyping with them just a little bit ago to see if we can get something made. Because there is a lot of controls too in the Model 3 steering wheel we've got to overcome.
Oh, because you were looking to maybe possibly make a removable steering wheel.
Yeah, absolutely, because that would make it so much easier. But yeah, the cage, I'm really happy with the design. I did an amazing job. I can't wait to show you guys some up-close photos. But what's so cool about the Model 3 is there was enough room between the dash and the doors to get the cage nice down and tucked down in the A-pillars. And this is the best visibility I've ever had in a race car that I know of. I mean, even my Model S, we tried to tuck the cage so that it wouldn't be blocking view, but it's so often that the cage comes in and you can't see out your rear view. You only have like little slips where you can see, and the X-Brace, everything that we spent that time to think through it and be there hands-on, if you're sitting in there, it's almost like the same visibility as a totally stock car, which is exceptionally confidence-inspiring in a place like Pikes Peak. Plus, you want to look out and see the view.
And then lastly, Blake, in your career, how important is a roll cage? Have you seen examples with other race car drivers where it saved a life?
A lot of times, yeah. Fortunately, I've never had to utilize the roll cage personally in any of my endeavors. But especially at Pikes Peak, there's actually a couple of really famous YouTube channels that you can see cars rolling down the side. And, having met the drivers that could stand to talk about it, that's because they put the money into a proper roll cage. And as I was mentioning earlier, the Model 3 is already super safe, but it is a 4,000-pound car. So that's a lot of mass that's going to possibly be rolling down a mountain. And we actually went back and added an additional bar above my head, just to, a little bit of added protection. And I know, Zach, and it's like I'm sitting here going, that's extra weight, but it's worth it. Plus, aren't we getting a Roadster? I want to be alive for that. Thank you very much. That's something I look forward to.
And, I mean, we have no choice. This is a requirement of Pikes Peak. If you want to race at Pikes Peak, you have to follow the stipulations of what kind of roll cage it is, and every car has to have one. Exactly.
And we did select, since 2016, there's been new materials out. So we actually used a newer material that is stronger than what I had previously and is lighter in weight by a couple pounds. So it's great to see the progression of materials out there. We did a fair amount of research on what would work with that, and I can tell you that having looked at the body manual for the Model 3, it's incredible the amount of effort they went into making it strong but also light. And as Sandy Monroe goes, they could have done it with fiberglass, so on and so forth. But I like it the way it is.
Well, thank you, Blake. It's so great for our community that sponsored us to get this roll cage, because this was the last major thing we needed in the car before Pikes Peak, and now it's in there. I feel so good about it. So we're getting ready for race day here. I'm excited. Thanks again. Now you know. Thanks for watching Electric Performance. Please subscribe, share, and hit the like button.